Have you ever wondered what goes through the mind of an avoidant person when they realize you've left, and this time it's for real? Do they feel regret? Do they change? Or do they remain as distant as before? In this video, we'll explore how avoidant individuals cope with loss, why they often only realize your value when it's too late, and how you can move forward in the strongest way possible. If you've ever loved an avoidant person or want to gain deeper insight into their complex psychology, don't miss this. Hit subscribe now to stay updated with upcoming videos on psychology and relationships. Let's dive into this mysterious world of emotions together. Number 1. The shocking reality for avoidant individuals. When you leave, an avoidant person might initially feel relief, as if they've escaped the pressure they associate with the relationship. However, this feeling doesn't last long. As the noise of life subsides, they begin to face an undeniable truth: you are truly gone. This is the moment they realize that what they once thought was a solution, keeping distance and avoiding connection, was actually the reason they lost the one who cared for them most. Avoidant individuals often undervalue what they have in the present. They fail to recognize the patience and understanding you brought, because their minds are preoccupied with fears of commitment and loss of freedom. Once the relationship ends, memories resurface. They recall the times you tolerated their silence, the efforts you made to keep peace despite their coldness. At this point, they realize that not everyone would do the same. The greatest shock for them is not just losing the relationship, but the emptiness that follows. The loneliness they tried to avoid now becomes an undeniable reality. They no longer have someone to listen, no one standing by them, even after they pushed you away repeatedly. For example, an avoidant person might unexpectedly notice the difference when entering a new relationship. Their new partner might not have the patience you did or make the same efforts to understand their deep-seated wounds. This forces them to reflect and recognize that you gave them far more than they ever appreciated. Realizing these mistakes can be a wake-up call for them. But true change must come from within, not from your love or efforts. This is also an opportunity for you to recognize your worth and seek a healthier relationship. Number 2. Their shift in awareness. When you were in the relationship, you might have often felt like you were carrying the weight for both of you. You sacrificed your personal desires, perhaps even ignored your own boundaries to maintain harmony. Despite your efforts to move the relationship forward, the avoidant partner often kept their distance or inadvertently made you feel as though the problems were your fault. They didn't see that their avoidance and defensive behavior were the barriers to the relationship's growth. Avoidant individuals don't usually intend to hurt their partners, but their psychology is governed by a fear of commitment. This fear often stems from childhood wounds or negative past experiences. For instance, experiences of abandonment or a lack of understanding from significant figures in their life may have led them to develop self-protective mechanisms. The walls they build make them feel safe but also prevent them from experiencing deep attachment. This explains why, when a relationship reaches a stage requiring closeness and intimacy, they become unsettled. They might suddenly act cold, irritable, or avoid serious conversations. Some may even disappear without explanation. To them, intimacy represents not just love, but also the risk of being hurt. Their actions are akin to activating automatic defense mode whenever they feel too close to someone. But when the relationship ends, avoidant individuals often enter a new phase of awareness. They start piecing together the efforts you made and realize they failed to appreciate them. They recall the times you patiently waited for them to open up, the moments you chose compassion over blame. This is when they begin to understand that their fears and withdrawal didn't protect them from anything but instead caused them to lose someone who truly cared. This newfound awareness often comes too late, when the void you left becomes more apparent. But instead of falling into the same cycle, you need to ask yourself, will this awareness lead to meaningful change? Or is it merely a fleeting moment of regret? Remember, awareness only holds value when accompanied by genuine internal transformation. Number 3. Avoidant individuals facing themselves. When avoidant individuals are forced to confront the emptiness after you leave, they realize they can no longer escape their true emotions. This is when they begin to look inward and ask themselves, why do I push away those who love me? Why do I always feel lonely even when someone is trying to be there for me? These questions act as a mirror, exposing their greatest fear, loss, and loneliness that they had been avoiding throughout the relationship. In the past, avoidant individuals often perceived intimacy as a threat rather than a joy. But once the relationship ends, there's no one left to avoid. Memories start to resurface, and for the first time they begin to see them in a different light. You're no longer the one who applied pressure. Instead, you become the person who brought comfort and acceptance that they failed to appreciate. They recall the times you forgave them, your relentless efforts to maintain the connection, and the patience you showed despite the walls they put up. This realization doesn't come easily, but it forces them to face the truth. They significantly contributed to the relationship's downfall. However, recognizing the problem doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to change. Avoidant individuals might feel compelled to reach out to you, saying things like, "I really miss you," or "I wish I had done things differently." But what's the real motivation behind these words? Is it genuine love, or simply an attempt to fill the temporary void? This is the time for you to ask yourself, are they truly ready to face and change themselves? A healthy relationship requires growth from both sides, not just a refuge from loneliness. Avoidant individuals need time and serious commitment to address their deep-rooted issues. As for you, remember that loving yourself, setting clear boundaries, and choosing not to return might be the most necessary steps. Let this be a crucial reminder. Instead of trying to fix what's broken, invest your energy in building a life that truly honors your worth. Number 4. The fear of loss for avoidant individuals. Avoidant individuals often believe that keeping their distance is the only way to protect themselves from being hurt. But when you truly leave, they're forced to confront their greatest fear: loss. The moment they realize you're no longer there to love, forgive, and understand them, the emptiness within them becomes undeniable. This isn't just a fleeting sadness, but a shock that makes them recognize they've lost something precious that won't be easily replaced. In the relationship, avoidant individuals often ignored your efforts, focusing instead on feelings of pressure or suffocation. But once you're gone, the memories of the safety, support, and love you provided become irreplaceable. The moments they once took for granted, like when you cared for them during hard times or gently encouraged them to come out of their emotional shell, now return with a sense of deep regret. For example, they might suddenly realize that no one listens to them with the same patience you had, or endures their emotional withdrawal like you did. Their fear of loss grows as they begin to compare you to anyone else who enters their life, realizing no one offers the same comfort you did. However, this fear of loss doesn't always equate to a readiness to change. Instead, avoidant individuals often try to temporarily soothe their emptiness by reaching out to you. They might say, "I know I was wrong, and I really don't want to lose you." But in reality, what they fear most is not having anyone to fill the void within them, not necessarily the loss of you as a person. As someone who has experienced this pain, you must remember that their fear of loss is real, but sustainable change only happens when they truly confront themselves. This isn't your responsibility. Focus on yourself, establish clear boundaries, and remember, you deserve a healthy love where you're valued and cherished, not just a temporary solution for someone else's fear. Number 5. The avoidance response after a breakup. After a breakup, avoidant individuals often try to mask their emotions through actions that might appear as though they've fully moved on. They may immerse themselves in work, participate in social activities, or even quickly jump into a new relationship. Their cheerful social media posts and statements like, "I'm doing great," create the illusion that they are perfectly fine. However, these actions are often just ways to soothe their emptiness and avoid facing their true feelings. By nature, avoidant individuals are not accustomed to processing emotions directly. When the initial busyness fades, they begin to feel the loneliness they've been trying to escape. Memories of you, the person who was patient and loving, suddenly resurface. They realize you weren't just trying to maintain the relationship, but were also helping them confront their deep fears they had never dared to face. At times, they might attempt to grab your attention. For example, as mentioned in a previous video on this channel, they might use certain strategies to provoke a response from you. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. But here's the critical question: are they truly ready to face themselves and resolve their underlying issues? A relationship can only thrive if both parties grow and support each other. As M. Scott Peck once said, avoiding pain only prolongs the suffering. Observe their reactions objectively and focus on rebuilding yourself. Sometimes the best choice is not to return, but to move forward towards a future where you can find a healthy and deserving love. Number 6. Your role in the story. In this story, you are not just someone who has been hurt. You play a crucial role in deciding the next steps. After the breakup, avoidant individuals may try to reconnect with you, expressing regret and even showing a willingness to change. They might be very convincing, saying things like, "I've realized my mistakes, please give me a chance to fix this." Or, "Can we get back together?" This can be tempting, especially if you still have feelings for them. But remember, their regret doesn't always equate to genuine change. Many avoidant individuals are simply reacting to the immediate sense of loss without addressing the root causes of their behavior. For instance, they might initially act like the ideal partner, but when the relationship becomes more intimate, they could push you away again, falling back into old patterns. Your role now is to ask yourself, am I ready to enter a relationship that may repeat past pain? Do I truly want to return to something that was emotionally exhausting? Be honest with your feelings and take an objective look at what has transpired. It's crucial to protect the boundaries you've established since leaving. Remind yourself that you deserve a healthy relationship where both parties grow and support one another, not one that drains you. You are not responsible for fixing someone else's wounds. If they truly change, it must come from their own efforts, not from your return. Ask yourself, what do I want for my life and happiness? Sometimes closing an old chapter is the first step to opening a better one. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I know that those who have loved an avoidant individual often endure significant pain and confusion. But remember, stepping out of a relationship isn't just an ending, it's the beginning of rediscovering yourself. Whether the avoidant regrets their actions or not, the most important thing is you. You don't need to go back to prove your worth, as your worth has always been there, independent of anyone's recognition. Your life deserves the good things, the people who will love and support you without requiring you to sacrifice or endure unnecessary pain. If you're on a healing journey, remember that there's no rush. Every small step, whether it's learning to set boundaries, practicing self-care, or simply acknowledging your feelings, is a significant accomplishment. What you've been through isn't a sign of weakness, but of courage and authenticity and love. Feel free to share your story in the comments section. Your experiences might inspire and encourage others. Let's create a community where everyone feels heard, understood, and supported. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more insights on psychology and relationships. Together, let's explore ways to overcome challenges and find happiness in the videos to come. The journey ahead may not be easy, but I believe you will grow stronger with each step. Life has so many meaningful things waiting for you to discover, and you deserve all the good it has to offer. Remember, each new day is an opportunity to start again stronger, freer, and happier. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.